Okay, can we make a start now? Are we ready to go, everybody?
Yes, we are ready, Pastor Sterling.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another presentation from the TTI team, True Temperance International. And I hope that you've all had a blessed week. And I'm sure the team have got something very rich in store for you this afternoon. Our speaker this afternoon will be David Bartholemew, and the topic will be, have you been sitting too long? Well, I'm looking forward to this with great anticipation. Just during the topic, have you been sitting for too long? Before we go any further, I'm just going to ask Natalia if she would like to just read the disclaimer, please, before we proceed into our next session. Natalia, over to you, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our disclaimer at TTI is only a physician can diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any illnesses or disease. Any information disclosed or discussed at True Temperance International Zoom Talk today are for educational and informational purposes only. Please continue to seek professional medical advice from your general practitioner regarding any illness or disease you may be suffering from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. I understand you've got a challenge from last week, so I'm going to ask Natalia if she would just like to take this session over, please, in just facilitating the challenges that we had and see how many people were able to complete the challenge. Natalia?
Okay, yes, guys, so last week we had a challenge to have our smoothies, you know, that rich smoothie. I'd like to find out how you guys found it. Was it nice? Did you notice any benefits from having the hormone balanced smoothie? Did you manage to get all the ingredients? I know a few of them was maca powder, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, all them rich nutrients that we need to make us strong. I know that one of them was to make a smoothie or to make a salad. So I'm interested to find out how that was for you guys. Did you make a salad? Did you make a smoothie? What ingredients did you use? Did it taste nice? Come on, let us know. What was it like for you this week? Anybody in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you'd like to share on here as well. Anybody?
I enjoyed mine. Sorry, I can't do camera, but I did enjoy mine. This is Shirley, everybody, by the way. Say that again, Natalia.
What did you have in your, Shirley?
So I made a smoothie. Well, I did a few salads, but I made a smoothie with banana, oat milk, hemp seed, flax seeds, walnuts, ashwagandha, maca powder, and a bit of nutmeg.
Wow.
So that's mine.
Delicious. Yeah, I've tried a couple of the banana ones, like, you know, with the maca powder and the banana. You know, if you're going to the gym, really nice drink to have, nice smoothie to have in the morning. Also helps to get your bowels going as well. I actually like the taste of it. It's quite nice, I would say. Has anyone had any salads? Anyone been experimenting with any salads? I know in our ladies group I've seen a couple of ladies using like raw broccoli in the salad. Is there anybody out there that's been doing that? Would you like to share that with us?
Yes. I actually prefer broccoli when it's raw as opposed to cooked. That's something that I experimented with one time, and then that's it. I'm hooked. Give me raw broccoli anytime. That's my pleasure. And then, so yes, I did a couple of salads. Did the thing with the ground, what was it now? Ground pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, walnuts, and I didn't have chia seeds, so I substituted that for flaxseed and ground that up in my little blender thing and put a teaspoon of that. I actually had some in my cereal this morning as well, so that was quite good. And then tried the thing with the smoothies, but I think I went a bit too crazy with the smoothies because I just went for all the fruits that we had and put them in and then added the powder because I didn't want to waste any fruits. I wanted to get them before they started to go a bit too ripe. So yeah, I just went a bit wild with the fruits, but I enjoyed it. So praise God, it was good. It's good nutrients, good medicine.
Good.
Good.
Anyone feeling like any extra energy, or I don't know, any extra happiness? How's everyone been feeling after you've been having these smoothies and salads? Pastor, have you had any of these this week?
I have. What I've been doing actually over the last few weeks, and my kids have been saying to me, I'm going to be wasting away because I've been eating so much salad ever since I got involved with this team. And health-wise, it certainly has taken its certainly have made an impression on me. So all I want to eat is salad. So this week I used to hate cucumber. But I just find myself now that I've got a craving for cucumber. I eat a lot of raw cucumber and a lot of lettuce for some reason. What I need to do is probably cut down on the salad cream that I add to it though, because I'm sure that I'm defacing it slightly by putting too much salad cream on it while I'm eating it. Yeah, but I'm enjoying it as well. Very good.
Lovely. You know what, Pastor? I could share something with you. I used to be like you with the salad cream.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to lose weight around when I got married, I used to just eat salad every day with loads of salad cream.
Yes.
And then husband was like, "Why are you eating salad cream? Why are you eating salad cream?" And I was like, "Listen, just leave me alone. At least I'm eating salad."
Yeah.
But I've got a really nice suggestion that you could add on your salad instead, which is something called nutritional yeast.
Okay.
You can buy it in Holland and Barrett. It's got like a nutty, cheesy-ish kind of taste to it. You just sprinkle it on your salad, put a little bit of herbamere on there, which is also like a nice little like herby, saltish type of seasoning. It's not really salty. It's just like a nice taste. You just mix it into your salad. Tastes great. I don't even miss my salad cream anymore, to be honest.
Okay. All right. I'm game to try anything, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm up for that. Yes.
Yes. Lovely. Oh, great. Anybody else? You guys quiet today?
Here's the yeast flakes for those of you who are not sure. There we go. Some yeast flakes.
Okay.
This has also got B12 because I know sometimes people are thinking, oh, you're vegetarian, you're gonna miss out on your B12, but it's added, it's fortified. So there you go. Yeah. And we could also do a demo one time where we show you how to make your own mayonnaise, your plant-based mayonnaise.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
That would be lovely, Sharon, if you could do that, because these plant-based mayonnaise can be a little bit pricey. So if we can learn how to make it ourselves, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Oh, you know when it's hot, yeah, like you can't bother to eat, can you? So a nice salad goes down nice, isn't it? With a nice little jacket potato, you know, all just goes down nice, doesn't it? Yes. Who is it? Okay, so tahini. Somebody's talking about tahini. Has anyone been putting any tahinis in the salads this week? Anybody? No?
Sorry.
Yes, guys. So this week,
it's me again. Yes, tahini with either.
Shirley, we kind of lost you out here. Signal's bad. But guys, regarding today's program, it's on exercise, which goes absolutely fantastic with the smoothies and the salad. So we've got a good thing lined up for you guys today regarding exercise. I hope you really enjoy the program. And yeah, it's quite good how it's gone from nutrition to exercise. So I'm really looking forward to today. I feel like it's really, really positive, which is great. So yeah, if anyone would like to share anything, else, I'll just give you a little chance to just share any feedback from this last week's challenge. Then we can go on to the next part of the program. So I just want to just give you guys a little chance first before we move on, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody? Anyone? No? Nobody?
No, everybody's gone shy.
Everyone's shy today, aren't they, Pastor? Why is everyone so shy?
Everybody's gone shy and quiet.
You don't have to be scared. Don't be scared, guys. Okay. So, should we go on to the next bit then, Pastor? Shall I introduce?
Yes, carry on, please.
Next bit. All right then. So, guys, got a treat for you in store today. We've got a lovely gentleman called David who's going to come and share some information on exercise, right? Seeing as we're in a season of exercise, we've been in lockdown, do you know what I mean? Sitting down on our backs for some months now inside our homes. Some of us have been motivated to go out and do walks and do home workouts. I haven't really been doing any home workouts, to be honest. I have managed to start going back to the gym though, which is quite good because they've opened up the gyms in our area. So I've been going to the gym, do you know what I mean? Like trying to just, you know, release some oxytocin, keep me happy, get me away from the kids, do you know what I mean? Because being stuck inside the house with the kids can be very frustrating sometimes. So I'm just so excited to just hear about this exercise challenge today. You guys stay tuned and we're going to go into the next program now. So I will introduce David to you guys now. Over to you, David.
Greetings.
Greetings, David. Where are you coming from to us this afternoon?
Okay, so I'm based in Wales.
Okay.
In Cymru, in Llanelli, Wales. Yeah.
Llanelli. Okay.
And so yeah, that's where I'm based. It's West Wales, kind of probably about say 25 minutes west of Swansea.
Right. Okay.
Going towards Carmarthen. So yeah, that's where I'm from. And now, you know, the Lord has blessed us out here. We've we've got a clinic that we run in Wales, in Llanelli, and you know, God is good. God is good. We do I'm a chartered physiotherapist and lymphedema specialist, amongst other things. Yeah, it's as well as being a child of the King. No, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be with you all today. Yeah, it's an absolute privilege. Are you happy for me to commence now?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just go in. I'm just going to try and share the screen with you here. All right.
Yes.
Before I do, if I could just, happy for me to just say a word of prayer. Is that?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah, you
feasible. Okay. All right. Let's pray. Loving Father in heaven, we are so grateful for the blessings of this day that you've bestowed upon us. We thank you for waking us up this morning. We thank you for giving us life, health, and strength. As we go into this presentation, I'm asking, Father, that you will take full charge and control, and that all the words that are spoken by this vessel that you have given me on loan, that your word and the truth about exercise shall be established, and those who are listening on will be blessed by it, and they'll be given opportunities to change whatever lifestyle or activities that they're doing to enhance, improve, and substantiate their state of being and their state of health. We thank you, Lord, for your blessing. We ask you to forgive us of our sin, cleanse us of all unrighteousness. For we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Okay, right. So we're going to jump in here and see if we can share the screen. I just need to probably back that up a little bit. Give me 2 seconds. We'll just jump onto here and we'll jump up to here. And we'll hopefully be able to go for it. Okay. That's interesting. Let's see what happens. Anytime I do a presentation, there's always, there's always something that kind of like, tries to cause a problem, but it looks like God is in control today. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the question is here. Can everybody see? Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's
the screen. Fantastic. Okay. So the question is asked, have you been sitting too long? Okay. There's a text that I found quite interesting, which kind of like almost depicts what is being spoken about today. And it's taken from James chapter 2, verse 26. And it says, "For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also."
Yeah.
So, when you look at life in general, things that are living, things that are alive, they move. Sometimes you think, well, inanimate objects, a tree doesn't necessarily move, but the winds facilitate the movement of the trees. But not only that, but trees grow, and that is a form of movement. If you were to take a camera and place it on a plant or a tree and leave it there for, I don't know, a couple of days, or if not like a week, you would see, if you sped it up, that there was movement occurring. So the most important thing that we need to bear in mind with regards to our being, our bodies, this multifaceted organism that God has blessed us with, is that it needs to move. Even when you're sleeping, your body's moving. But most importantly, everything in the system needs to be moving. Now, if you become quite sedentary, if you become quite limited with regards to your movement in the way of exercise, you're actually very slowly beginning to kill yourself, literally. Okay. I've seen many scenarios within the hospital setting. I used to work for the NHS for 10 years. And, individuals, when they find that they're in a bed and they can't move, have difficulty getting around, they will become susceptible to, say, for example, a DVT, just deep vein thrombosis, which is, it comes about as a result of the pooling of blood. The blood isn't flowing effectively through the system. And because of that, it's because of the lack of activity, this is why it's happening. Now, what can happen in that scenario is that the confusion is brought to the blood itself, whereby it pulls around, and what can actually happen is the platelets can then release or crack and open and release thrombin, which then basically eventually ends up in a clot in the vessel, blood vessel, and that travels possibly to the lungs, to the heart, and pose a threat to their existence via what they call pulmonary arrest, which is like, the lungs stop effectively picking up oxygen and getting rid of carbon dioxide, or a cardiac arrest, or even a stroke. Yeah, so this is why it's so important. It's so important for us to actually move. So everything, if something stops moving, normally it means that it's either in the process of dying or it's dead. Yeah, so that's why it's so important for us as human beings to keep moving. And sitting down is one of those factors that kind of enhances that immobility within our systems. Okay, I just wanted to check, how long have I got? Is it 40 minutes or something of that nature? Is it? Let's move on to the next slide, hopefully. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at the effects of sitting too long. Okay. Right. So this is Health News 2018, July 2nd, right? It says, get up off the couch. Sitting too much may kill you even if you exercise regularly. So this is a very important point I think everybody needs to take home with them. If you miss anything else, don't miss this. It says, if you sit for 6 hours a day or more, your risk of dying early jumps 19% compared with people who sit fewer than 3 hours. An American Cancer Society study suggests. Okay, so it's very, very vital. It's extremely vital that, you know, if you're sitting for long periods of time, if your job is a sedentary one, I mean, nowadays they have what they call like stand up and sit down desks. You know, you can lift them up, you can stand at the desk, or you can sit at the desk.
Sorry, excuse me. David, is it possible for you to make your screen a bit bigger so you can, your slides?
Slides, oh, sorry. Have I not,
You've shared the screen, but they're quite small. Yeah, that's better.
Sorry,
and yes,
sorry.
40 minutes is absolutely fine.
My good lady wife mentioned that to me, man. I just kept on going, man. I'm just getting so excited with the program.
Right.
Is that okay? Did you see the slide before?
Yeah, we saw it, but it was just on that small scale.
Okay.
But yeah, 40 minutes is absolutely fine, and then there's enough time for questions.
Okay, cool. Apologies. Right. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, it says here, and the study of authors added, sitting may kill you in 14 ways, okay, including cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, kidney disease, suicide even, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is like, for example, asthma or some kind of bronchitis or bronchiectasis. Those are all kind of chronic pulmonary diseases of the lungs, so that's lung disease, liver disease, peptic ulcers, and other digestive diseases, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, nervous disorders, and musculoskeletal disorders. So there's quite a lot of issues that can result as a result of sitting. Okay, moving on. Now, this is just a bit of a comparison between the effects of sitting too long and exercise. This is the sort of things that, you know, on a broad basis that occurs physiologically in the body. Okay, so number one, it decreases your exercise tolerance, decreases cardiac health. So your cardiac output is compromised. All right. Okay. Lung volume reduces. You know, in your lungs, you've got like what they call they've got the total capacity, or the total capacity of your lungs in terms of the volume. Okay. And then, you know, you have different aspects of the capacity that can become compromised. I won't go too much into detail into that, but if anybody wants to ask me any questions about that, then we can. There's things like the functional residual capacity, there's things like the tidal volume, you know, the less you breathe in and out, the closer what they call the functional residual capacity becomes, which is the amount of air that's left in your lungs, okay, after you've breathed out. Okay, so if that gets too close to your tidal volume, what can happen is, you know, you can get closure of your lung air sacs, which can cause a disease or whatever. But we can go into detail if anybody wants to ask any questions about that later on. Muscular integrity decreases. Bone density can become decreased. It increases and enhances constipation. Circulation can be decreased. Increased body weight can be a result. Sorry, I just wanted to shift this over a little bit because I need to see the rest of my screen. It can cause joint problems. Cause joint problems. For example, low back problems. You know, a huge amount of issues present themselves, or back problems result as a result of sedentary jobs, or jobs that involve a lot of sitting. Okay. Now, on the other hand, exercise enhances your exercise tolerance, which makes it so everything that's on this side of the screen, on this side of the screen, it's the opposite on this side. Cardiac health improves, lung volume improves, muscular integrity improves, bone density improves, constipation decreases, and circulation improves or increases, body weight diminishes, and your joint health or integrity is improved. Okay, now one of those major ones, one of the major issues on the planet today is obesity. Okay, and then there are a lot of factors that are contributors to obesity. Some individuals have got genetical problems which cause a presentation of obesity, like lipedema. Okay, and these individuals, because of the genetical, I could say genetical, but I would say it's also genetical, but also it has a strong hormonal component to it as well. And this is more prevalent in women than it is in men, right? So, but and on the other, when you look at obesity, as it were, which is not lipedema, which is not necessarily genetic or hormonal, it's becoming a global epidemic, just like this, almost like the pandemic that's occurring presently. And it can be a problem. And exercise isn't the only answer, but it is a major helper, or it can be a good deterrent to reduce the prevalence of being overweight. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. So this is some of the things that being overweight can actually cause, and that come about as a result of probably being a couch potato, sitting too long, not doing any activity, and so on and so forth. Okay, so meningiomas, which is a cancer of the tissue in the brain, that can come as a result of being overweight as a result of sitting too long. Thyroid problems in terms of cancer can be established. Adenocarcinoma, okay, of the esophagus. Okay, breast issues. Okay, postmenopausal women have a tendency to have issues with that. And that, again, being overweight can cause this. Multiple myeloma, cancer of the blood cells, liver cancer, gallbladder, upper stomach, pancreatic cancer, colonic or rectal cancer, ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer, and again, kidney issues. That all of this can occur as a result of being overweight, which could be established as secondarily to not doing as much activity as one should. Okay, so just moving on to the next slide now. Okay, so these are some of the risk factors that come about with being overweight. You've got the risk of stroke, you've got increased risk of heart attack, liver disease, as we mentioned, cancer of the esophagus, cancer of the liver, gallbladder problems, type 2 diabetes, weakened muscles and bones, joint pain, infertility, kidney failure, skin folds and rashes, gastroesophageal reflux disease. And this is quite it sounds not too bad, but I mean, it can be quite uncomfortable, burning sensation in around this area of the chest. And it's also known as lower esophageal cancer. Now, one other factor that individuals need to bear in mind, it's kind of like to do with diet, as it were. If you suffer with heartburn and you're a coffee drinker or you take caffeine in, you must try to refrain from doing that, because it causes what they call cardiac sphincter relaxation. And if you're overweight as well, that can make matters even worse, or worsen the lower esophageal syndrome, which could predispose you to lower esophageal cancer. So that's something to be aware of. Sleep apnea, which is difficulty sleeping because you're basically, because of the weight, it kind of occludes your windpipe and stops you from breathing effectively. And so your sleep is disturbed. Although you're sleeping, ever so often your sleep is disturbed. And so therefore, as time transpires, you're lacking the amount of rest that you should get. And it can make you quite ratty. And also it can mess up the regenerative abilities or capabilities of your body throughout the night, which is what should be happening while sleeping. Also, it can increase depression. Okay, the reason being is because this can affect the microbiome of the gut, Because of the fact that, you know, you may be overweight and you're thinking about it and you're concerned about it, worried about it, and you know you have difficulty in getting out of the scenario, it can mess around with the stability of the mind. Okay, so moving on, let's have a look at the benefits of exercise, shall we? Okay, so this is according to researchers in the Appalachian State University, and this is a university in North Carolina. Those who did 5 or more days of exercise a week experienced 43% fewer days of upper respiratory tract illness or infections, so symptoms than those in the lowest 25% of fitness levels who did 1 day or less of exercise. And when the former did get a cold, their symptoms were 32% less severe. Boom. Now that's a good one, isn't it? Eh? I mean, when you look at it, it's like, this is what exercise can do. It can actually help to facilitate your recovery. And I think particularly in this time of this pandemonium of the coronavirus or COVID-19, exercise is extremely important. As you get, you know, you'll begin to learn how well effective it is in terms of lung health and your health in general. Okay, so the benefits of exercise. It says, but how does an activity that effectively wears you out give us much needed immunity boost? Okay, it seems like it's an oxymoron, to be honest. It says exercise increases the production of new neurons in the hippocampus, the memory part of the brain. Okay, now this increases the production of glial cells, the most abundant cell type, which is found in the central nervous system. Okay, which are the body's support network. Okay, so that's quite important, that benefit in terms of exercise. So these cells can help to protect and support the function of the neurons, okay, which are the nerves throughout the body and in the central nervous system, which basically comprises the brain and the spinal cord. Increase our respiratory rate and depth of breathing, okay, which again helps to increase the lung capacity, and which in turn increases the amount of oxygen to be absorbed into the blood. More carbon dioxide is removed and it's flushed out, and also what's flushed out is the bacteria and sort of like viral sort of like aspects that would have a tendency to cause the flu to be established in us. So it helps to cleanse the airway. So, you know, people have a tendency to say, oh, I caught a cold. But in most instances, really, you don't realize you're actually getting rid of a cold. Because the cold throughout, you know, the warm periods, it's basically you've taken it in and it's taken seat. And so when the conditions are right, like with any microorganism, when the conditions are right, they then begin to manifest themselves and begin to multiply. And that's what happens when you get a cold, or basically you're getting rid of it because you've already taken it in. It also enables better circulation and causing a change in the antibodies and the white blood cells, the body's immune system. So it basically really helps to enhance the efficacy or the effective abilities of your white blood cells and the antibodies that you have in your system. Now, just moving on from sort of like, you know, looking at sort of like, you know, the circulatory system and so on and so forth, and the lungs, we're going to look at the spine. Okay, so we can see here is a diagram, okay, of the spine. Okay, so you have what they call the cervical spine, you have the thoracic spine, you have the lumbar spine. Now you can see like kind of like an S shape that the spine kind of forms, and that shape helps to facilitate a nice sort of cushioning or a suspension mechanism that, you know, we've been blessed with, you know, by God. And the differing vertebrae are different because of their function. So you see the lumbar spine area here. There's a lumbar spine vertebra down here. And, excuse me, you have 5 of those in this area, which then articulates with your sacrum. And your sacrum is a 5 vertebrae, which basically are fused together. And then you've got your coccyx down the bottom, which are 4 to 5. They call it the tailbone, which is connected to your sacrum. All right. Now, the issue that tends to present itself with lower back problems, obviously, is around this area. But those who have poor posture and who have been sitting for long periods of time, maintaining poor posture, they're not only susceptible to symptoms in the lumbar spine area, but also the thoracic region and also in the cervical region. Okay. And which can be as debilitating as the lumbar spine. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on now. So here we have it. We have good posture. We have poor posture. Okay. You sit for long periods of time. You can tend to be drawn into a posture that is poor. You know, the longer you sit, you know, more arduous the work that you're doing, the more concentrated you become. You tend to sometimes dip down. You know, I mean, I have to be honest, where I've got my laptop right now, it's not the best position, but I'm doing my best to maintain an upright posture. But, you know, what can occur is you can really have an issue. You see this scenario here? The laptop is really quite low. And so also is the seat. You know, the most important thing is with a seat, it's important to have, if you look at this diagram here, it's important to have the hip and the knee at the same level, or the knee needs to be just slightly lower than the hip area. And by having that posture, it actually helps to encourage the correct curvature in the lumbar spine area. Whereas in this scenario, you can see that there's a levelness, or even the knee slightly higher than the hip around here, and it causes your back to flatten. Whenever you lose that curvature in your spine, you're placed in a position of vulnerability. And that's what sitting in a bad posture, sitting too long, can actually encourage that particular problem to manifest. So here we have it. This is the kind of thing that you will be susceptible to, lower back pain, okay? Which, you know, sitting too long can cause that sort of issue. All right. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit of advice concerning the sitting posture. Okay. Very important is that, you know, in your abdomen, you have these muscles. Okay. So you have the most sort of superficial or integrated muscle called the rectus abdominis, otherwise known as the 6-pack, or if you've got it, the 8-pack. Some of us have a 1-pack. I'm doing my best to maintain my 6, but I got to rely on the Lord for that one. Okay, so that's the more superficial integrated muscle. Okay, all right. So just deep to that now, you have what they call the external oblique muscle over here. Okay, now this muscle has a tendency to wrap itself around, okay, the abdominal region. Okay, all right. And then deep to that, you have the internal oblique muscle, okay, which does the same thing as the external oblique. But most importantly is this one here, okay, the transversus abdominis muscle. Anybody heard of that muscle before? No? Okay. So it's basically, its name says what it does. It traverses the abdominal region, okay? So it goes all the way around. So, and it goes up as far as, I've still got another diagram on it here for you. Here's a better diagram. You see this one quite clearly, yeah? It attaches up underneath the rib cage, all the way around the rib cage here, and around like so, comes down to the pelvic region here, pubic bone, and all the way up. So it covers the whole expanse of your abdomen. And then here's the side here. You can see it actually looks like a corset, doesn't it? All right. And it filters and it feeds into this area here called the transversus, called the thoracolumbar fascia. So thoraco means it's attached partly to the thorax and attached partly to the lumbar region. And it's called fascia because it's a silvery substance, which, you know, it serves as a point of contact or point of connection, but also it serves as a point of facilitating movement. The fascia is very like slidey. So you've got many muscles fitting into this structure, and they effectively move across each other. So the fascia helps the smoothness of movement and helps to reduce friction. Anybody heard of fasciitis before? Fasciitis is basically irritation or inflammation of the fascia, okay? Which fortunately it doesn't happen too often in this vicinity. Okay, I think I've got another diagram on here for you. But I'm looking at this muscle is really quite important in stabilizing your core and help to stabilize your back. If you're sat for a long periods of time, you just go into a flop and the muscles begin to waste. Any ideas as to how long your muscles, and you can answer this question, any ideas as to how long it takes for a muscle to start wasting away when it's immobile? Have a guess. Everybody's shy. Okay, I'll help you out. It only takes 24 hours of immobility for the muscles to start wasting. Okay, all right. So over a long period of time of not doing anything, that can have an accumulative effect. Yeah. So that effectively it begins to waste. Now, what I want you to bear in mind is how this muscle is contracted. This muscle is contracted by you tightening up your pelvic floor muscles. In the brain, it has the same circuitry. The pelvic floor muscles have the same circuitry base in the brain as the transverse abdominis muscle. But not only the transverse abdominis muscle, but you see these muscles around the back here? If you see this diagram, these are the multifidi muscles. And they basically come into action the same time as the transverse abdominis muscle. Okay, so here's a bit of more of a diagram, bit of detail. You don't need to worry about the names. But you have here the gluteus maximus. Now we know about that muscle, right? Okay, that muscle is your buttock muscle. And as you can see, the fibers are traveling up in this direction. They travel up and they feed into this silvery stuff, which is, again, the thoracolumbar fascia here, okay? Right, so this is back, side, front. And over here, this is that same substance. So when you work on tightening you strengthen your gluteus maximus muscle, right? You're actually helping to stabilize your lower back. Which, you know, when you're sat for a long period of time, that muscle isn't really getting worked, okay? You know, and it may be wise that if you're sat for long periods of time, you need to tighten up your bottom muscle, okay? Do some static glute contractions, yeah? So you're tightening it up, just trying to, you know, get some kind of activity in there just to enhance the what we call the integrity to that region there, plus the pelvic floor muscle contraction, which will help to stabilize the lower back. Okay, right. So I just wanted to just throw in some what we call I call a golden nugget, just to encourage and to help out with the exercising process. This is I call this a golden nugget. I never realized how effective black raspberry seed was in terms of your exercise and enhancing your exercise. It says the berries contain, particularly the seeds of the berry, they contain polyphenols, yeah, which are antioxidant, plant-based antioxidants that are basically revered, okay, and they have the ability to protect your cells against damage, as we know the antioxidants do, right? But also what you've got is that they help to reduce, black raspberry seed helps to reduce inflammation, okay? Now, inflammation is one of those issues, one of those factors in our body that really does inhibit our ability to mobilize and to exercise. The more pain we have, the less likely we are to exercise. You can get into a bit of a rut if you sat for long periods of time. You get pain established because of muscle wastage, because of aggravation, irritation of certain structures. And what happens is your body will then say that, hey, I'm in pain. And so the pain stops you from moving, because pain normally is a sign that you need to try and have some healing process going on, but the muscles aren't supporting enough to actually give you that ability to re-establish a nice, stable, integral support, which basically encourages the perpetuation of the pain and the inflammation. But blackberry seeds and blackberry themselves, they actually help to reduce inflammation. Okay, so it's really be good to have this snack. If you haven't got any problems, it'd be very good for you to have this as an after snack. Yeah, post exercise. Okay, all right. Next slide. So here we have the berries. They contain anthocyanins, which are flavonoids. Again, antioxidants. They found in the skin of the berry. They also found particularly concentrated in the seed of the berry, which is mentioned here. But it helps to reduce muscle inflammation, and especially after a particular intense workout. The berries basically also contain complex carbohydrates, which will help the body to replenish itself quickly with energy and to amend the micro damage done to your muscles. So that's what tends to happen when your body goes from aerobic to anaerobic. There's a bit of like inflammation, that there's muscle damage. That's what they call the delayed onset muscle soreness. Okay, and this helps to reduce the prevalence of that. Okay, as well as other things. Okay, so moving on. Chardonnay grapeseed is another one, which is very, very good. And it's normally known as GSC, which is grapeseed extract. Okay. And again, it's very, very effective for helping to lower blood pressure. It helps, it's effective in improving endothelial cell function. Those endothelial means cells that are inside your body. Okay. You know, basically it's shown to reduce sort of like, you know, your blood pressure, particularly in healthy human subjects. So you don't have to have high blood pressure. You know, if you do have low blood pressure, though, you've got to be careful with this because it could cause you to, you know, go into a state or pattern or a period of syncope, which is fainting sort of like periods. But, you know, you just need to be mindful of that. Okay. So again, with the grapeseed extract, you know, some interesting experiments were done, and they found that the cardiovascular response, basically, it really helped to improve the dynamic exercise activity in those who had pre-hypertensive. So those who had a bit of hypertension, it basically actually encouraged and improved their cardiac output. But it also found that the oxygen, this information here that's spoken of, this is simply the oxygenation of the heart. Yeah. So what it's basically saying is that whilst the work of the heart was reduced, the cardiac output was increased. So it basically helps your heart to work more effectively, more economically, and it doesn't have to work as hard. I mean, isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. All right. So these are just some of the ideas or some of the things that it contains, you know, grape seed extract, fantastic stuff, you know, and you can get that, you know, from the grape itself, particularly from the grape seed. If you've got time to extract it and so on and so forth, likewise with that. But then the other thing is the black cumin seed, Nigella sativa, which is apparently this is very good for the immune system health, which exercise improves your immune system health, but also this helps give it that extra boost as well. Okay, and encourages like weight loss also as well. And you know, basically it's been seen as a really effective assistance to a varied amount of health conditions. And I mean, I've only started using this in my practice since, say, like last year. And the results I found with individuals are just simply amazing. And all of this can be found basically in this pack here. It's called the Rain Soul, and it contains all of those factors that I just mentioned, which are very, very, very effective. These are all the things that it contains. This is one way that, you know, if you really want to get back into exercise, you get yourself going and all the rest of it, this would give you a nice boost to get things going. Okay, so moving on. So I just wanted to just bear in mind these factors. Okay, now lifestyle is very important. Okay, now if you look at this basically makes up an acronym. You've got NEWSTART, which spells new start. Oops, sorry. New start. And you know what's really very, very important is that all of these factors are so important to our existence and to the perpetuity of life in general. Okay, and these are the factors that I would say, you know, God has placed within our hands. all of these aspects here, excuse me, rely upon each other. So nutrition helps you with exercise, it gives you energy. Water, well, your whole body's made up of water, and you can't function without water, and exercise facilitates exercise. Okay, sunlight, again, vitamin D, very good for your bones, and your bones are required so you can carry out exercise effectively. Self-control, temperance, which basically means not taking any bad things into your system, which basically gonna make your system have to work harder. If your system has to work harder to do exercise, it makes it even harder, because exercise, at the best of times, most people don't really like to do exercise. I mean, you got to get into it, and once you start experiencing there's endorphins being released, you get those happy hormones, then you begin to get addicted to that. But if you're taking things like alcohol consumption, even caffeine consumption, all these things, they can reduce the ability of your body to function at its optimal level, which again affects exercise. If your temperance is good, self-control is good, non-smokers and so on and so forth, it will help with your ability to exercise. Air, well, that's self-explanatory. If you don't breathe properly, you're going to be puffed out. You're going to have problems with breathing during exercise. And rest is very important too, because your cells need to regenerate in order for them to be able to work at the optimal level, again, affecting exercise. And trust, yeah? People, when you have trust, yeah, and trust in divine power, trust in God, or trust in, family, you may have trust in family. When you don't have trust, it's like if you don't trust something, you're not at peace, And there's a text, I think it's Jeremiah 29:11, says, I know the thoughts I have towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, and the desire to give you an expected end. When you have an expected end, when you know what's going to happen, when you trust what's going to happen in the future, it can give you peace of mind. If you have peace of mind, then effectively what you're finding is that your body is going to be settled and relaxed. Okay, so and my final statements here. Okay, I just want us to just take into consideration the different systems, the many different systems that we have in our body that are important and helpful to exercise and are encouraged by our exercise. The endocrine system. Think of all these systems. And then you have the musculoskeletal system. You have the integumentary system, which is basically your skin. Okay, and then you have the circulatory system. You have the lymphatic system. You have the nervous system. And that's me going back. So effectively, you have all these systems and they all come together and they work as one. I mean, I could only conclude as a medical professional that there is a God. For all of these systems to be together, for all of them to be together and to work. And if we do exercise, we spend time, we get off of our buttocks and we do work, we do exercise, we don't spend too much time sitting down, it will help to perpetuate and enhance our lives and add to it longevity, which is my desire for you. And I believe it's God's desire for you. That's the end. Oh, here we go. Oh, well timed, well timed. God is good. Okay, that's the end of the presentation. I hope it has kind of made sense. And so here we go. Over to whoever is leading the program for any questions. Do I need to stop sharing the screen?
It might be useful, although someone might refer to a question that was on there.
Yes, please. Okay. Thanks very much, David, for that wonderful presentation. I probably learned more today about physiology and anatomy than I ever thought about. The last time I heard anything like that was I used to do a lot of sport, and from time to time we used to have the physio and the sports doctors used to come in and talk to us and these things. But that was very uplifting, and I'm sure it's been a good refresher for a lot of us. But thanks very much. A little bit deep for those of us who aren't acquainted with it.
Yeah.
but it was well put together, and thanks very much for it. At this time, I think we're going to be in a position now to take questions, Sharon and Natalia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we'll do normally, I don't know, for those of you who are regulars, you'll know that we normally go in the chat room, and you can leave a question in the chat room. For those of you who want to raise your hand or identify yourself on the screen, then you can do that, and we'll pick you up and identify you through the media that you're using. So if you go in the chat room, Natalia will pick up the questions in the chat room. If you like to address directly David with any question, then you can come directly on the media and do that at the moment. So over to you, Natalia. Can you control this bit, please?
Yes. Thank you for that, David. I learned a lot myself just then. Which was great. Someone's asking, will your notes be available?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And these are your informations here. I can see anyone who would like to get in contact with David, his contact details are on the screen, so you can grab a pen and just get that down. Any more questions, anyone, for anything that we've learned today?
Sorry, it's Shirlene. David,
Yeah.
can you just do me a favor, please? Can you put your information in the chat room, please, and the screen share?
Okay.
Just up the screen share. Just put your information in the chat room, please.
Okay,
and Sharon,
cool.
can you just unmute individuals, please, so they're able to unmute themselves?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I learned that sitting down too long can cause some problems, basically. Me and Bruce was just talking about it. We didn't realize how serious it was if you're just literally just sitting in the same position all the time, not moving around, can cause major problems. So very informative. Guys, you're very quiet this afternoon. Very quiet.
Hi, I've got a question. I've had what they call sciatica, or they call it lower back problem, but I've since found out it could be the psoas muscle that's tight because of constant sitting. Do you know anything about the psoas muscle?
Yes, the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is an intrapelvic muscle. It would have been nice for me to share the screen again so I could show you roughly where it is. But
I know where it is. I always thought it was sciatica, but apparently sciatica is only because it's a symptom you get because you've got a problem. It's not. It's a problem with your back or your hip area. So when I walk, I have a constant.
I've lost you. Where have you? Hello? Hello? The sound has gone. She's gone.
Yeah, I think she's gone. There's a question inside the chat room, David, and it says, could you explain a little more about the 6 hours sitting and the negation of health even with exercise?
Okay, so if effectively your body requires a certain amount of exercise, yeah, and you know, if you aren't doing that optimal level of exercise, okay, then it's almost as if, how could I explain this? It's almost as if you've walked a certain distance, and your journey that you're trying to get to is like, I'd say 20 miles, and the distance that you've walked is 10 miles. So you know, each time you do your journey, you do 10 miles, and then you go back to the start. but you don't ever get to that destination. So it's almost like you're not doing enough exercise to get your body working in a way that will help to strengthen it, and also will help to get your circulation functioning at an optimal level. Okay, so if you don't do, say, like, sufficient exercise, it's almost as if the exercise that you have done, it may help you a little bit, but it doesn't help to increase the longevity of your system. And so that's why it's important to, at least, on a daily basis, targeting different muscle groups, do the same muscle group every time, because then you could get muscle imbalance. But not only muscle imbalance, but you can cause yourself some injury or cause some issues with, like, I don't know, sort of like inflammatory problems. So it's always good to try and keep it balanced. You do at least half an hour exercise where your heart rate gets up above its sub-maximal level. And there's a little calculation that you can do with regards to your age, taking it away from sort of like, your maximal heart rate. And that's the level that you need to keep it at in order to do exercise that will help to facilitate optimization of health. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
David, there's another question. Is there a chair you'd recommend that helps with posture?
I would suggest B2. Yeah, it's a company called Back2, and they are very, very proficient, very effective at giving you the supportive sort of ergonomic chair that's required to you. They do have a tendency to assess you as well, but the most important thing for any sort of like situation whereby you may find yourself sitting, you must maintain the arch of your back. Give me a second. Oh, is the spine around there? Is it? Can I just grab that 2 seconds? Now you have to forgive the spine that I'm going to show you. It is a little bit old, all right, but it's a little bit decrepit, but it will serve its purpose. Okay, so can you see this, right?
Yes.
All right, so here we have the spine, right? This is pelvic area here. Now it's important for this area not to be, see this, how it looks quite straight? That will cause you problems, okay? All right, you're sitting down on a chair and your back is really, really straight like this. The shock absorption will be, it can cause problems. Conversely, if your back is like this, if it's flattened like that, that would encourage disc problems. I would really like to get back to that sister that was talking earlier on and kind of quiz her a little bit about her scenario. Or she can contact me if she wants, because I was getting into that question. But anyway, and this is with the back arch. Ooh, see what I mean? It's completely cracking up. Anyway, this is with the back arched, okay? So the arch needs to be maintained, okay? If that arch isn't maintained, what will happen is you'll get pressures on joints, you'll get pressure on discs, and it can cause major, major problems. So it's important that the arch of the back is maintained. What I suggest to my patients is that they need to find what they call the neutral spine position, okay? Neutral spine position is when, when your bottom is really pushed out, okay? So the lower back is substantially arched, okay? And then you have the flattening posture, okay? All right, and then that's your excursion of movement, okay? And you've got to find a central position. I'm gonna have to demonstrate this for you, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do this for you. Okay, all right, here we go. Right, so you see my pelvis here, yeah? You see that? Right, so
yes,
that's my back really arched, okay? And that's my back flattened, okay? Arched, flattened. You see the difference? Or is it difficult for you to see? Okay, just tighten up. So that's it, arched. That's it, flattened. Arched, flat. I need to stand up properly to do this. Okay, right, so you have the arch and then you have the flattening. Okay, arch and flatten. You've got to find the mid position. So you're not here and you're not there, you're in the center. When you find that position, it helps to neutralize or optimize all of the forces that are going through your spine. If it's flattened too much, it can encourage disc problems and nerve problems. If it's arched too much, it can cause joint problems. And again, it can cause nerve problems, because if you get, the amazing thing about the body is that the bones are so very much responsive. When you have too much pressure in joints, the bone cells in your bone pick up vibrations. Those vibrations indicate how much force is being placed upon those joints. Okay, and so the more pressure, more vibrations there are, the more your bones will lay down more bone. So if you have joints, if you see the joints, these points here, these are the joints here, yeah, where the bones meet. I don't know if you can see that very well. Those points where the bones. So these points here, where the joints meet, if there's too much pressure on those, these will begin to thicken. I don't know if you can see these points here. These are your nerves. Can you see that? Right? This area here will become thickened with bone. As that thickens with bone, it will put pressure on the nerve. And then you'll have a trapped nerve, which you need to have surgery to remove that excess bone that's putting pressure on your nerve. It's called stenosis. Nerve stenosis, which you know, if it gets to that point, you'll have to have surgery to have that extra bone removed. So it's best to try and avoid that from happening, right? So you know, you maintain good posture, okay? Endeavor not to sit down too long, and that will help to improve. So like, I'll maintain what they call the good posture. So you have to make sure that a chair that you're sitting in, a chair that you're sitting in will help to maintain that reasonably arched position, therefore restricting or reducing the prevalence of you sustaining any back problems or any other issues.
Thank you for that, David.
I've got some chicken then. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I?
We've got Louise Reed. Louise with her hands up.
Yeah, can I ask David? Thank you for taking my question. So what will happen? How do you fix a disc that's deteriorating, and like, you know, they say that there's nothing more they can do for your disc because it's deteriorating to a certain degree, so there's nothing they can do. How do you try and fix that?
Right, so first of all, the important thing is that you've got to bear in mind is this, okay? With any joint problem, okay, because sometimes you're told things in the hospital, and I dare I say, sometimes it's just kind of get rid of you. You know, it's like, you know, we've done all we can, we've got other people to see, right? But, you know, with regards to, and it's not always like that, but, you know, they've got to get through certain people, don't they, right? The fact remains that your disc is very much reliant upon water, okay? There are certain little kind of like bits of, so like organelles or certain components you have in the disc, and they're called proteoglycans. Proteoglycans love water, yeah? So they draw water in, yeah? Now, when you're up walking around throughout the day, what happens is the pressure of gravity as you're walking, each step that you take, the water is eventually squeezed out of your disc, okay? Right? And then throughout the night, when you go to bed, because there's no pressure going on the disc, as it would do when you're upright, what happens is the disc is able to fill up with water, because the proteoglycans love water, they draw water in, okay? So that's number one. Water consumption is extremely important for your disc. The other factor is this. You see those muscles that I showed you in the diagrams, the transversus abdominis muscle, it's expedient that you work those muscles, because your muscles don't only serve as movers, but they serve as stabilizers, and also they help to take away pressure from the joints. If there's more pain, if there's more pressure on the joints, you have more irritation. Irritation brings inflammation, inflammation, pain. Okay, so to get the joint integrity, the muscle integrity up to speed, it will help to reduce or dissipate that pressure that's been exerted on that area where the disc is degenerating. Yeah. So normally what happens is if the disc degeneration is to the extent where you've got bone on bone, then your body can work in a way that it will basically fuse the two bones together, so that you'll lose movement from that area forever. On the other hand, if it is so painful that you can't mobilize, then you may have to have surgery to have it immobilized. And if there's still some life in that disc there, then ensure that you hydrate the area effectively and do your core stabilizing exercises. One very good core stabilizing exercise is what they call lunges, which is good for the gluteus maximus, which feeds up into the back and helps to stabilize that lower part of the back that we spoke about, the thoracolumbar fascia. But also your transverse abdominis muscle, that muscle that goes all the way around to your back. Very, very, very important. Very important. Yeah?
Thanks. So Dave, sorry to jump again, guys.
That's all right.
I'm not taking anyone's time. So what would that mean? Is it possible then that a person who has quite a degenerate a disc that's deteriorated quite a bit,
yes,
they're being told that surgery would be of no use, they can still move around, but they move around with pain, there's days when the pain is quite extreme. Is it possible then, because you're talking about the abdominal muscles as well, that that person, even though they're quite slim, because of the problem with the disc, and then they have this kind of like stomach that kind of pushes out, even though they're quite slim, and they're not big or overweight or anything. They're quite a slim build. They've got a problem with the disc, but then the stomach muscle seems to push out. So it kind of looks like they've got a little stomach when they shouldn't have a stomach. So it kind of looks weird.
Okay, so here's the deal. It sounds like their abdominal muscles have loosened off somewhat. So they need to do some pelvic curl exercises to try and tighten up. See that 6-pack muscle that I spoke about? Yeah, or 8-pack. Some of us have got 8-pack. Yeah. All right. It's important to try and strengthen those muscles up, because they actually bring the pelvis. They bring the pelvis from that position to that position. Okay. The more you are in that position, this is broken now completely. The more you are in that position, the more your tummy will have a tendency to hang over or to appear protruded. Yeah. Right. So you need to do some exercises that will bring the pelvis into that position. Yeah. And that's achieved by the rectus abdominis muscle. Okay. But also what's important is, people who are really, really thin, they call them ectomorphs. Yeah. Right. Those who are quite overweight, they're called endomorphs. And those who are quite muscular, yeah, they're called mesomorphs. Yeah. So if somebody's kind of ectomorphic, right, not a lot of weight on, they look really, really slim, okay, they can work those muscles and they can help to stabilize the joints, regardless of their size. I always say to my patients, the only reason why pain presents itself is because, number one, there's a muscular imbalance. Number two, it's because the position is incorrect. If you have those two factors there, you're going to have pain. You change those positions, you change those situations, the pain will have no other option but to leave the premises. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Praise the Lord. Yeah. So it's important. It's important. And if there are other things that you can use, like TENS machines to reduce pain, which is like transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. These are things that you can use to try and reduce pain. But as I said before, I've seen with this stuff that I've started using in the clinic, I haven't seen anything like it. I got a paraplegic patient I see, and their ability to stand now is so much better than when they weren't taking the stuff, and it's all natural. It's amazing to me. And it helps to reduce pain as well. And it's one of the most natural pain killing substances that's out there, really. Yeah. So and it's produced by God. So I think yeah, it's a good tool.
What's it called?
It's called Rain Soul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's I put it in the WhatsApp thing, so you
Yeah.
can have a look at it, and the website is on there as well.
Hello, I phoned earlier on about my back problem, and I was
You're talking about psoas, right?
I had, well, they diagnosed I had scoliosis, but that was only caused by my bad posture, and I'm correcting it. But I thought somebody said the psoas nerve might be a fault as well, which needs strengthening.
Right.
Is scoliosis connected to the psoas nerve, or you know, is it all that area?
Psoas is actually a muscle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the psoas is a part of the hip flexor.
Yeah, because that's where I feel the pain every time I put my feet down to walk. I feel the pain, but like you say, the lunges and what they call them, the lunges are very good. On staying in that position, the lunge position for a while and holding it,
right?
Find helps a lot, and it seems to be easing it a lot more. While I was doing stretching, and stretching is not doing anything for it.
Right. Okay. So it depends on the position of your spine. If you've got quite a deep lumbar spine lordosis, what I mean is that a deep curve into your back.
No, he said I had an MRI and they said it was a mild scoliosis.
Okay, right. So you've got scoliosis, which is, let me show you. I can try and show you with this spine. It's just completely giving up the ghost on me now. But I'll see what I can do. Right. Okay. So effectively, you have the spine here. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So this is the back of the spine. This is the front of the spine. Okay. Now, scoliosis tends to occur in that sort of a fashion. See what I'm doing there?
Well, it's not at the top. I think it's at the bottom.
Okay, so you can have scoliosis down at the bottom as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether it's the bottom or the top, it always has to start from really the top of the spine, and it comes down and it basically filters into that area. Okay. So that scoliotic curvature can be as a result of the psoas because it might be tight, but it's unusual for it to be tight necessarily on one side. However, there's nothing impossible, but you know what you've got to bear in mind is sometimes
I diagnosed it could be the psoas, but my MRI said it was scoliosis. But I've been doing exercises on YouTube for the psoas, and like stretching.
Right. So the scoliosis, the scoliosis basically, people have scoliosis and they don't have pain. Some people have, they don't have pain. It's all to do with, I believe, it's the muscular support. But what you've got to bear in mind is this. Sometimes scoliosis can occur as a result of a leg length discrepancy. Okay, because you've got one leg slightly longer than the other.
Yeah.
That can cause your spine to be tweaked. And it's doing that simply because if you didn't, you'd be leaning over one side like this and you lose your horizontal. What your body tries to do is if your one leg's longer than the other, your body tries to correct so you've got horizontal so that you have that curvature in the spine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what can cause the scoliotic curvature, right? Now, if you have like issues with your iliopsoas or your psoas muscle, that can cause your spine to be, sort of like really arched like this. So, you know, like the bottom is really sticking out and the back is really indented.
Yeah, okay? Mine is a bit like that, yeah.
Right. And what I have found in my experience is that most women that have had children, they haven't been told this fact, that when you have a baby, you have in your uterus, the uterus is connected to your lumbar spine and the inner aspect of your pelvis, okay? So when you look at the pelvis, okay? When you look at the pelvis, okay, so this is the pelvis here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
The womb sits in here. It's attached to the ilia by 2 round ligaments. And in the back portion, your back would be here, it's attached by a thick round ligament to your spine, okay? So when the baby grows, Okay, this is the spine. And when the baby grows, what happens is the spine gets pulled inwards like this because of the weight of that round ligament attached to this area here. It gets pulled in, so your back becomes arched. And invariably, most women don't get told that they need to correct that position. And all of the muscles in the gut, in the abdominal region here, get stretched out of all proportion because of that baby. You know, the next time your children are rude to your faces, just tell them, listen, remember what you did to me, and remember it was because of me that you're here. Right?
But I'm an older person, so this has only happened in the last 10 years. I've started getting this scoliosis really bad.
Right. Okay. But you know, what you might find is that the scoliosis might have been there, but it's just that because your tissues were so resilient when you're younger, there was no complaints. As time transpires and the tensions in the tissues become sort of like higher, or the elasticity in the tissues become less, that then causes the pain nerve fibers in those tissues to start firing. Okay. But having said that, again, if you correct the posture, if you strengthen the muscles, get the right nutrients in there, it will make all the difference.
Is it curable, scoliosis?
Scoliosis, it depends, because you have a scoliosis that is biomechanical and you have the scoliosis that's anatomical. Anatomical means that your body has basically fixed you in that position. Yeah. And biomechanical means that when you stand up and you bend forwards, if your spine straightens up, it means that it's biomechanical. It's not anatomical. It's not the structures that are maintaining that position, but the muscles are kind of pulling you into that position. Yeah. So you have to kind of get somebody to work that out for you as to whether that is the case or not.
Right.
But having said that, biomechanically it is correctable. Anatomically isn't necessarily correctable. It'd be very difficult to do that. But you know, I find that individuals who have biomechanical or anatomical scoliosis, we can basically devise exercises to actually help to, you know, combat that pressure that's being placed on the spine.
Have you got any exercises, or do I have to contact you?
You'd have to contact me, but also I'd have to see what's going on. It would have to be a consultation. I'd have to consult and see what's going on, because I wouldn't like to give you anything, sister, that's going to cause you to crack up even more.
So where are you based? I didn't get your details. Or...
They're in the
they're in the chat.
They're in the chat, I think.
Yeah,
I can do virtual sessions as well. A virtual consultation.
Consultation. Oh, okay. Is there a charge for that?
Yeah. But I don't discuss it on the Sabbath hours sort of thing.
Okay. Can I just ask people to keep their questions general, because we've got a lot of people with questions, and if it gets too personal, it's turning into a consultation. So I appreciate your answers. They've been really informative, but if we can just keep our questions more general, then we give more people the opportunity to put their questions. And please raise your hands, and then they can be, we'll take your questions as your hands are raised. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sharon. Just to check, how much longer are we going to give towards questions? Because there are a few in the chat and I don't want us to go on for too long.
Well, I think we could probably allow 2 minutes per question, Natalia.
Okay.
Just to give everybody a chance in the chat room, and then we can sort of move on.
Okay. There is one, David. It's a lady said, well, somebody said, I don't know who it was. It says, are you saying there's no makeup for, 1 second. Had it here. Yeah. Are you saying there is no makeup for cumulative sitting?
No makeup. Makeup.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that
mean?
mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
So cumulative means basically build up, right? buildup of I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when you're sitting, it's important to try and break up your sitting pattern if not every hour, every couple of hours. Yeah, that's why it's so important to. That's why they've introduced stand up desks and sit down desks for individuals who are sat for long periods of time, because they recognize that this is a very serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there any exercises that you would recommend for people who work in offices?
If they can get a gym ball, if their boss will allow them to get a gym ball, and making sure the station is ergonomically assessed. A gym ball is one way of working your transverse abdominis muscle and all the muscles in the rest of your body without actually working, if that makes sense. Because you're basically sat on a ball, the ball wants to move, and you've got to hold it steady. Your transverse abdominis muscle comes into action, helps to facilitate that stability or equilibrium so that you can function and work at your desk. Or if you're sat down watching, working on a computer at home, whatever, a gym ball, it's got to be the right height, everything's got to be the right level, knees in line or just below the level of the hips. And it helps to maintain the correct posture and so on, which is beneficial.
Thank you. And genuinely speaking, would you recommend increasing exercise for somebody who's obese or not exercised in a while?
Yeah, I would say start off gently. Yeah, start off gently. And a whole of the New Start principles, you need to probably get in contact with somebody with the New Start principle. One thing that's very, very helpful, walking is a good exercise. I mean, we learned just the other day on one of the talks with Jason Williams that, men shouldn't sit down for too long because it encourages prostate issues. Okay. And yeah. I'm reminded to stand up and just take a few steps myself, quite important. You got to try to make sure that, you're getting those steps in because it helps to reduce the prostate size, yeah, so it's quite important, all over to get yourselves moving and so on and so forth.
Is it a gym ball you're saying, or a gym board?
Gym ball, B-A-L-L.
Okay, the gym ball.
You call it a Swiss ball, like
Swiss
a big ball.
Okay, one more, David, I wanted to check with you. That's been here for a while. Do you have a view on kneeling chairs? Is there an argument? There's an argument for and against.
Kneeling chairs.
Yeah, kneeling chairs.
Well, those chairs, I mean, they can put a bit of pressure on the knees. If you got to be quite reasonably flexible to actually get into it, right? So if you've got issues with your knees, then it's not going to be beneficial to you, right? Okay, because there's a lot of pressure that goes through your knees. However, it is quite beneficial in that it helps to maintain the arch of the spine. But again, if you have a predisposition for your spine to be over-lordosed, which means it's over-curved inwards, then that can cause you problems. So, it's maintaining the position, but, you've got to, it's like, for example, if I were to say to you, okay, I want you to close your eyes, yeah, and lift your arm up to 90 degrees, okay? Now, you'd be able to do that, right? Okay, close your eyes and lift them up to 90 degrees. You know where that is. You should do at least, right? Okay, so you've sensed it and you've felt it. The same mechanism of sensing, or what they call proprioception, which is joint awareness, is available in the pelvic region. So you can actually find that neutral spine position, maintain it, and keep it in that position. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, we've got a hand. Sharon, did you want to say something?
No.
Yeah. Early on, you said that there's risks of cancers due to obesity. You showed us like a range of different cancers.
Yes.
Is this due to the internal or visceral fat that's affecting the tissue?
Well, because you have visceral fat. I mean, visceral fat, when they say internal fat, they mean fat within the viscera, or do they mean fat, because fat within the viscera is internal, but also you got fat that's it's like, you know, you could say like dermatological, sort of like in the soft tissue, as it were, you know, just hanging around, sort of like in around the waist and so on and so forth. So it's difficult to say. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they say the principles of being overweight is where you have most issues is where you carry a lot of the fat around the tummy area. Okay, a lot of fat around the tummy area can predispose you to sort of like abdominal issues, abdominal cancers, and so on and so forth. And you know, if you are sort of like globally obese or weight all over, then you're putting yourself in a position to develop a cancer in pretty much all of those regions that I spoke of. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Mm.
Great. Well, I think we've covered most of the questions now, David.
Yes.
Thank you again for your presentation. We're all going to go into a little challenge now for this week regarding exercise.
All right.
Yeah, so we're about to go through for that then, guys. You ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to just pass you over to Pastor just while I just get Lewis to come and present, okay? I won't be a minute.
Okay, Lewis is coming. Yes, no problem.
While we're waiting, happy anniversary. I can see an anniversary banner in the background, David.
What do you call it?
The PowerPoint.
Yeah. It was our 25th anniversary, man. Praise the Lord.
All right, very good.
Yeah. It was a good time, man. Good time. Didn't get time to take it down. Yeah.
I was trying to read what it said, and then it dawned on me. Anniversary.
Yeah.
Right. Now that we've got some people unmuting, while we're waiting as well, is there anybody else that wanted to give a testimony about their experience doing last week's challenge? Just while we're waiting for Lewis to hook up, because I'm aware that some of you might have been unable to unmute yourselves. Okay, I know we had some images on the women's WhatsApp chat of people posting their different salads, and it looked like it was quite a lively time for us, sharing different recipes, and I'm looking forward to the salad dressing that we're going to probably share next week, a homemade salad dressing that's going to be plant-based and less fatty than the ones that you tend to buy in the shops.
Okay. We got Lewis. We got Lewis here.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Lewis.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the challenge, thank you, David, for the presentation. It was great. Just want to give you guys a quick challenge for this week. It's about exercise, so we can get a bit active today. I'm not going to physically show you an exercise, unfortunately, but I'll just take you through, just want to show you a few exercises that will just keep you active. Like, so I want you guys to get up and get active during this week. So I'm going to push you a bit. Since we're quarantined, a lot of us were too stationary. So I'm just going to just give an example just quickly. All right, guys. So, yeah, so I want us to do, break it down in two groups, because I know we got people different age groups. I don't want to put too much pressure on the older guys or on the younger guys. So, and depending on your age group and depending on your fitness level, of course, will determine. So, I will send the information properly inside the men's health group as well, because you may forget what I say. So I want us to, so from tomorrow, from Sunday to when we come back on Saturday, I want us to be fully active. So every day I want everyone to get involved with the exercise routine. I know we're working, some of us back at work now, so you can do it before work, you can do it after work. So whichever you choose is up to you, right, guys? So that consists of, I want you guys to at least, so between 30 minutes to 1 hour, between 30 minutes to 1 hour of walking. Yeah, between 30 minutes or 1 hour. So that can be you walking to work, that can be working at your lunchtime, whatever it is, let it be at least 30 minutes of walking to an hour if you want to take it to an hour. But that's just so that's the beginning. 30 minutes to an hour of walking. And what I want you guys to do as well, so now when you have that time, you finish work, or if you're not working right now, I want you to, if you don't go to the gym, especially if you go to the gym, then keep doing what you're doing. I want you to go to the gym, try to go to the gym every day if you can. If you don't go to the gym, so this could be done at home, it can be done outside, depending on the weather. So I want you to start with I want you to do some push-ups. I want you to at least do, so if you're between the age of 20 and 29, I want you to do at least 30 push-ups every day. Ages of 20 to 29, 30 push-ups. Yeah. So just an example, you can see the guy arms straight, arms bent, 30 press-ups, yeah, or push-ups. If you're between the ages 30 to about 45, yeah, actually no, 30 to 50. Let's take it to 30 to 50. Yeah, the age between 30 and 50, I will let you off for 25 push-ups. And anyone above 50, I'll let you off with 20 push-ups. But must be done every day for the next 7 days, right? Every day. So that can be done whenever time. That can be done in the morning, that can be done in the evening. If you want to even do it twice a day, then you have fun with it. You explore and so your body reacts to the exercise, right? So remember, so 30 minutes to hour walking, at least 20, depending on the age group, you can say if you're age 20 to 29, 30 press-ups, 30 to 50, we're looking at 25. And if you're 50 plus, 20, right? So that's even if you're 70, I want to see 20 push-ups. So let's, then I want you to do, if you can, this is optional. You can walk, you can stick with the walking, or you can additionally add some running. But I'm not talking about just jogging. I want you to do sprinting. So if you want to sprint, I want you to let the heart rate really get up, get the heart rate high, really high. So sprinting, go, like max yourself as much as possible as you can. And this is something that I do, like example, like when I go to the gym, for example, like if I'm really trying to increase my stamina quickly, I'm trying to max out my with the sprinting. And what I've noticed, even with myself, that my stamina really improves a lot when I really push myself to the point that you almost feel like you're gonna faint because you're just really going for it, full throttle. So that's a good way to get the lungs really working hard, especially if you've been stationary for a long time. So I'm not talking about the jogging, casual jogging, because you're already doing the walking. But I want you to really push yourself. So if this is something you want to add to it, you can add that as well, right, guys? So the sprinting. So sprinting, walking, push-ups. Additionally, this is, if you haven't got a bar, I like to get a bar. And why I know you tell people, and this is what we call a pull-up. Normally, a lot of guys, a lot of people, like even women, like they will do all these amazing things in the gym, etc. But they can't handle their own body weight. So I would like you guys to get involved. If you can buy a bar that you can actually stick on your door, like behind the door, and you can use it to like a pull-up. So it can be the wide pull-ups, it can be the close pull-ups. The close pull-ups, see how my hand is right now, it'd be like that, pulling yourself up like this way, or the wide one would be as in the diagram. So I would like you to, if you have an opportunity to get a bar, if you have we go to the local park where there's like bars like where you can pull yourself up, guys. I want to, and women as well. And we're on the platform. I want you guys to do 10 pull-ups per day. So this is gonna put you to sleep at night. Trust me, you're not gonna wake up the next day and you wake up feeling great. A lot of aches and pains. So I want you to do 10 pull-ups if you can. Because what I realize that a lot of people pushing weights, it's not just about pushing weights or just jogging at all. You need to have a good, strong core strength. And pull-ups will really increase the core strength of the body. And you'll be surprised how heavy you actually really are. Until you hang off that rope, you'll see how heavy you really are. And trust me, it's very important. So yeah, so those three, I haven't got all the images. So I'll leave you guys with those three. Oh, of course, sit-ups as well. I can't leave it because I know they've been talking about the 6-pack and the 8-pack and all the packs that comes along with it. So I can't leave that out. So yeah, so you can add because now you see what David said regarding the importance of the muscles around that area with the spine and with our ELF. So it's important that we keep obviously belly fat to minimum, but also keep those muscles nice and toned and strengthened. And with the acronym of New Start as well, exercise is a key player because ideally we need to try to exercise every single day. So if we can just get so with the sit-ups now, I would say once again the same criteria for the push-ups. So ages 20 to 29 for 80 push-ups a day if you can. Ages 30 to 50. I'll let you off with 25 push-ups, yeah? Sorry, sit-ups, 25 sit-ups, right? And of course, if you're 50 plus, I'll let you off with 20 sit-ups. So that's the challenge for this week, and that is every day. So as soon as the sun sets now and you wake, as soon as the sun sets, if you got a chance to, start today. If not, start tomorrow, and let's get doing this, and let's get healthy. Let's get productive, and let's obviously experience. So yeah, so that's the challenge, guys, for this week. So we're looking at push-ups, walking, pull-ups, sit-ups, right? And also the sprint that's the optional. If you feel that you want to push yourself a bit more, you do a sprint every day. And then see, and then obviously just give us a progress. And when we come back next week, I want to hear some testimonies and how you feel, and obviously how you feel mentally, physically, etc. So yeah, Pastor, that's all we have for that. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Very good.
Can I ask you a question about the push-ups, please?
Yeah.
You know the push-ups. You had the picture of the man like with his full like plank, straight body. For some of us that might be struggling, can we do it from our knees?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Like, yeah, I don't expect you to be like go all gung-ho in it, but yeah. So if you can, if you can just do your knees, that's fine. That's fine. Obviously, you do it to your ability. It's not competition. You just do what's best. But as you do it more, you'll get used to it, and I'm sure you feel the benefit. It's just like when you like start eating like a more nutritious food, you eventually, like at first it might be hard, but then eventually you feel the benefit. So, and I can tell you, like for me, it's been hell not being able to go to the gym and exercise for at least 3 months. It was terrible. Like I felt slow, felt lazy, I felt less enthusiastic about life in general. But soon as the gym opened up, I'll be able to get out there, get more busy, get more exercise. It feels great. I feel like myself again. So I can definitely testify that exercise is a key player in our health. Any other questions regarding the challenge? Yeah. Is everyone up for the challenge? That's the key.
There's a couple of questions in the chat.
Have we? Let me have a look. Where is it? Can I break it up while I walk? Is that for me? Can I break it up while I walk, or must it be consecutive? Okay. Like I say, you design a regime that actually works for you. So I'm not saying like you can do all. So you can set like a time. So I'll set 2 hours. Those 2 hours I want to accomplish my exercise routine for the day. Like me personally, like it's probably better if you break it up. So like, so you can do your walking like during the day, and then you do your intense exercise at night, or you can split up. You can do like sit-ups and the push-ups in the morning. Then in the evening, you do the sprinting or the walking for an hour. So it depends. You make it work for you. So that make it work for you. So people that got back problems, that's a good question, David. You might have to jump in that one. Now, like when it comes to back problems, I guess it depends on where your back problem is. Because I know with some people running for a long time with that can that causes more pain for the back. So it depends. So I'm not sure. Depends what your back problem is, how severe it is.
That's right.
If it hinders you from say doing a pull-up or like, cause because it all depends. So David, if you can jump in there and just maybe suggest something.
Yeah. The important thing is with back problem, if you have a back problem that's quite severe, you need to probably abstain from doing any exercise that's going to put excessive strain on the back. One thing with the back is that can be very sensitive, and that, you know, if you aggravate it, it's like you could be in pain for like days, you know. So the important thing is that, you know, like for example, if you have a severe scenario, it depends on, as you said, Balu, but it depends on the severity. And if you've got nerve pain involvement, if you've got sort of like abdominal issues, if you've got sort of constipation, because back pain can cause constipation because of like nerve involvement and so on and so forth. You want to abstain from like doing any of these sort of exercises. If you've got like a generalized ache, then you may be able to get away with it. With regards to the running, you know, you probably want to avoid the running. If you're going to run, try and do it on like soft surface like sand or on grass, and see how you go. Just, you know, just test the waters. But if it aggravates it, you know you need to step back. The most important thing that I mentioned with all exercises, the core stability is paramount, because it's from this area here, all movement gets its reference. This is the foundation. Many people think your feet is the foundation. It's a foundation of sorts. But this core here, once you've lost that stability there, the rest of the body has to work much harder. So it's important to get into those pelvic floor exercises, making sure that you're stabilizing your core by contracting your pelvic floor muscles. Because not only does your pelvic floor get your transverse abdominis muscles going, but it also gets the multifidi muscles going as well. Okay. So with regards to the press ups, you know, again, and if you've got issues with your back, you could try the knee press ups. Yeah. Because it's less strain on the back. Because, like, you know, when you're doing full press ups, it's like a full plank, right? So there's a lot of pressure on the lumbar spine area. But very important. You know, any movement, you know, really you should try to make sure that you engage your pelvic floor muscles, which helps to put on your, I call it the armor, the internal armor that God has given you. And that helps to stabilize your back or your core. Hope that kind of helps.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's the challenge. So hope that everyone is up for the challenge. So these exercises, like I say, they're designed to strengthen the body. It's not using alternatives like using weights and additional things that might put more pressure on the body. So this is your own body weight, and it's good to be in control of your body weight. But then it strengthens the core muscles, like David said. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all it is right now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Louis. I'm sure we can all go away and attempt at least one or more of those challenges that's been set this afternoon. If you're like myself, guys, and those of you who find it possible, if you've got a little 9-hole golf course around your area, it might be an idea to join the golf course. I don't know if you know this, but when you play around the golf, I normally get up two to three times a week, either very early in the morning or probably late in the evening in summer. When you play 18 rounds of golf, you walk approximately 4 miles. And not only that, you're swinging, you're exercising the upper body, is what David was telling you about. It might not be convenient to others, but those of us who can get the opportunity to join a little golf course and play a bit of golf, that's a very, very good form of exercise. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, David. Can you unmute David, please?
I was just putting my thumbs up. I said thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Is that it for today, guys? Over to you, Natalia or Sharon.
Yeah, I like the idea of the golf. That's great. I say, listen, whatever it is that you do that involves activity, whether it's gardening, allotment, running after the children, probably it shouldn't take 30 minutes to an hour to do that, but to run after the kids. But whatever it is, find something that you enjoy and just stick to it. And if you get bored of that, find something else. Yeah, because it's activity is a plus, it's a must, it's a definite. It will keep you well and healthy. So David, thank you so much for all that wealth, all that knowledge that took me back to my uni days when I did my sports science. But yeah, that is fantastic. Natalia, can you tell us something about next week, or shall I?
You talk.
Okay, so for next week, guys, we have a fantastic presenter. His name is Dr. Gandhi. He's from, some of you from South Africa might be familiar with him, and we're going to be covering nutrition and the Western diet. And we will also give you that demo for healthy salad dressing. And come with your pen and paper to take notes. I know I was taking notes today. We forgot to tell you to do that. But anyway, we do have the recordings. So it's been brilliant. Yeah, not Shirley. Natalia, anything?
No, Sharon? Sharon?
Yep, I was saying, anything else you wanted to add?
No, let's do this, guys. Let's enjoy our exercise week and then come back with some good feedback, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, Lewis. You really have set the bar high there. So I'm going to do my best.
You can tell Lewis is a young man.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
All right,
younger
anyway,
than me.
Take care and God bless. It's nice seeing you as well, Alvin. Alvin McQueen, I can see you there. Yeah, God bless you.
Alvin in there, man. I was kind of my boy.
All right. Take care, everyone, and God bless.
All right.
We hope to meet.
Bye. God bless everyone.
Take care.
And don't forget, we've got the WhatsApp groups as well, everyone. So we will be encouraging you on the WhatsApp groups throughout the week. I know Lewis said he was going to send something on the men's group. I'll ask if Natalia can share it on the women's group as well. And we'll stay in touch, everyone. Okay.
Okay.
So, and look forward to next week. Have a good week, everyone. Keep active, keep moving, and stay positive.
Can you share the link for the WhatsApp group, please?
The link for the WhatsApp. Ooh, okay, right. If you hang in there, it might take me a little while, but yeah, between myself and the rest of the admin, we can work on that one.
Yeah.
And the rest of the admin team, please stay on the line if you're able to. That'll be good.
Whoever is recording, please can we stop recording now, if possible?
That will be done.
Thank you.
Will be done. Thank you, Alice. Thank you. Some messages in the chat. You are most welcome. Simi, yeah, we acknowledge your thanks. Oh, plank is good for the stomach. Yeah. Dr. Louisa, thank you. I'm not sure who R15 Pro is, but thank you for tuning in. Donovan, yeah. Remember to run in decent trainers, not the not your hard shoes. Okay, get some good trainers there for running. Did you hear me? Was I muted? I'm hoping you heard me. I was saying that we should run in decent trainers.
You just click off YouTube to stop it all.
Charlene?
Yes, Sharon, I'm here.
Quick question. How do you stop the live recording?
Click on it at the side where it says live on YouTube.
Click on
YouTube.
On
that arrow.
Okay, Edgar can hear you.
I didn't tell you that bit, did I?
No. You're trying.
Or go towards the bottom where I showed you at the bottom of how to live stream. Or make me host. I'll do it.
Yeah. We'll go with that one.
Make one of us host. Either Nature's. I think my name is. I think it's on Shirley.
You're on as Curlu.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it that one. That's fine.
We still.
Okay, can you do that one? Make Shirley in host.
Still waiting for the WhatsApp group, please. link.
Oh, yeah. WhatsApp group. Okay. Oh, Shirley.
All right, thank you. I'll do it.
Thanks. And if there's anyone on here from, actually, yeah, it's better if you go that way rather than drop your numbers in here, because that way you can do it directly. Charlene, you